Peter,
Yes, Jesus?
come with me.
Where are you going?
I'm not telling you.
Don't you know?
Oh, yes, I have a fair idea.
Well, then why won't you tell me?
You might not like it.
Well, thanks for your consideration then, Jesus.
Peter,
Yes, Jesus.
come with me.
Can I bring someone else?
Just bring yourself.
Will there only be two of us?
Oh, no, there'll be plenty of others.
Will I know some of them? What about my cousin Alec? Will he be there? Or maybe my Gram. Can she come along? I would love for her to meet you.
Peter, just bring yourself.
But you said there would be others.
Oh, that's right.
Well, who are they?
I'm not telling you.
Why not?
Well, you might not like them.
Thanks a bunch, Jesus.
Peter,
Yes, Jesus.
come with me.
I've got better things to do than go on some sort of mystery tour, but I'll think about it. Can you tell me what we'll need?
What do you mean?
Well, if I'm going to go somewhere that I don't know, with people you refuse to tell me about, there are some things that might come in handy.
Like what?
Like something to read in case I get bored, or something to sing in case I get sad, or a new pair of jeans in case there's a dance or a party.
Peter, you'll not need anything. Just bring yourself. That's enough to contend with.
Well, Jesus, do you want me to end up like you?
Peter, I'm going. Are you coming with me?
Jesus,
Yes, Peter.
can I ask you a question about your technique?
What technique, Peter?
Well, I was afraid you would say that.
What's this about?
Well, it's just that the other disciples and I were trying to work out your technique for healing people.
What did you come up with?
Well, at first we thought it had to do with your hands, because when you healed Jairus' daughter and my old mother-in-law, you took their hand. But then we remembered the woman who had been bleeding for 12 years and you never even touched her, so we decided it wasn't your hands.
Well done. Was there another theory?
Yes, Martha thought it was your voice, because when you raised Lazarus, you shouted at him and he came back to life. But then Andrew reminded us how you never even saw the centurion's servant, but you managed to bring him back to life without shouting at him.
So you decided it couldn't be my voice.
That's right. Even though, Jesus, we thought it might have something to do with your saliva.
My saliva?
Well, you did spit on the deaf man's tongue, and when he started yapping, as if it was going out of fashion. And you spat on the mud in the pool of Siloam, and you rubbed the mixture on the blind man's eyes.
But I've healed other deaf people, and I cured Bartimaeus without spitting.
Oh, Thomas reminded us of that. So the saliva theory went right out the window.
So what conclusion did you come to about my technique?
Jesus, we don't think you have one.
Right, fourth time. I don't have a technique.
Then how do you heal people?
Peter, when Andrew and you were little boys, did your mother always treat you the same?
Oh yes, she had no favorites between the two of us.
I'm not asking you if she had favorites. I'm asking you if she treated you the same.
Well, yes and no.
Tell me about the no.
Let me think. Well, here's an example. If my mother wanted us to get up in the morning, she would tell Andrew it was 7:30, and she would tell me it was 8:30.
And why was that?
Because she knew Andrew loved getting up, and I hated it. The only way she could ever get me out of bed is if she told me that I was already late.
Your mother, Peter, is like God.
Don't be silly, Jesus. She's just my mom.
Peter, your mother's like God. In order to get you changed from your pajamas to your shirt and trousers, she had to treat you as an individual. When God, through me, changes people from being sick to being healthy, it doesn't happen because of a slick technique. When you love people, you treat them and heal them as individuals.
Well, that clears things up then. Thanks, Jesus.
Anytime, Peter.
Jesus,
Yes, Peter.
do we have to believe everything that's written in the Bible?
You mean there's something you don't understand?
How did you know?
Intuition, Peter. Intuition first, then mind reading.
Mind reading.
The passages you are having difficulty with comes from Psalm 65.
How did you know?
Psalm 65, verse 13.
Jesus.
The valleys are so full of corn, they laugh and sing.
How did you know?
Closely followed by Psalm 148, verse 7. Praise the Lord from the earth, you sea monsters and ocean depths.
Jesus, how did you know? Go on, tell us. Are you psychic?
No, Peter, I'm perceptive. Last week we sang both of those psalms in the synagogue. You were standing 2 along for me, remember? And at these lines, you let out a big sigh. Something like,
You heard me.
everybody heard you. There were only 6 people at the service.
Well, no wonder, Jesus. You just can't go about saying these kinds of things.
What things?
About valleys laughing and sea monsters praising God, and it discredits the integrity of the Bible.
Peter, in your eyes, it might discredit the integrity of the Bible. But in God's eyes, it expresses the integrity of creation.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? Answer me this. What does the thunder do?
Well, I don't hear any.
Well, then use your memory. What does the thunder do?
Roar.
What does the wind do?
Whistle.
What does the tide do?
It comes in and goes out.
Proper terms.
Ebbs and flows.
What does the sun do on the waves?
Dance.
What do birds do in the morning?
Sing.
What do flowers do when they're fully bloomed?
I don't know.
Think about that. Who is it all for?
I'll pass on that one.
No passing. Who is it all for? Who is the roaring and the whistling and the dancing and the singing? Your words, Peter. Who is it all for?
Us?
And what about before us were here, Peter? Who was it all for then?
That's a hypothetical question, Jesus.
It's nothing of the sort. You don't need me to tell you that there was life on earth before humans walked on 2 feet. And there was worship on earth before humans ever sang a hymn.
How come?
You're just like the rest of them, Peter. You think that religion is only for men and women. You forget that God made the whole world for his glory, and that every creature in its own way is meant to worship him. That's why the bird sings, and the tide ebbs and flows, and the rocks resound, and the fields get dressed up in bright colors, and the valleys laugh and sing.
Now you're talking romantic, Jesus.
I'm not talking romantic, I'm talking real. And you and your like-minded friends had better learn to respect the worship that Earth offers, because if for any reason one species of bird no longer sings, one lake of water no longer sparkles, one forest of trees no longer claps its hands, God will want to know why. Ecology is doxology, Peter. To care for the earth means to preserve its praise.
That's heavy stuff, Jesus.
God's not a lightweight, Peter. Peter! Peter! Is it as bad as that?
Uh-huh.
But you've changed your clothes. You're dry now.
It wasn't getting wet that bothered me. It was making a fool out of myself. Why did you let me do that? Surely you knew what was going to happen.
What have the others said?
Well, they've been quite good about it all, apart from Andrew, who keeps making snide comments about needing webbed feet.
Well, your shoulders are broad enough.
It's not my feet or my shoulders, Jesus. It's my head. Whatever made me try it?
Well, you tell me. Why did you try it?
Oh, you know what I'm like. I take these notions and I always want to be in on the act, and you made it look so easy walking across that water. We all thought it was a ghost at first. I mean, treading on grapes is one thing, but walking on water, that's out of the question. Then we realized it wasn't a ghost. It was you. And you were walking on the sea.
And you wanted to do the same, eh?
Well, yeah, I did.
Why, Peter?
Well, a little bit of me wanted to see if I could do it.
And a bit of you wanted to show off?
Well, that might have been right. I did manage it for a while at first, didn't I?
Well, yes, you did. For about 5 yards. And then...
And after that, I don't remember a thing. I just woke up in the boat with James pulling seaweed out of my mouth. What happened?
I'll tell you what happened. You stopped looking at me and you started looking at waves.
I could hardly do anything else. There was a big swell.
Remember Lot's wife, Peter?
Did she try walking on water?
No, but instead, like you, instead of looking ahead, she began to get fascinated by the danger all around her. And she ended up being destroyed.
I'm not sure of what you're saying, Jesus.
Peter, I've asked you to follow me. And you can only follow me if you watch what I'm doing and see where I'm going. And wherever I am, there will be trouble and opposition. There will be threats all around you, and there will be distractions inside you. Doubt, uncertainty, and all the old temptations you thought you'd left behind. If you keep your eye on those things, you'll go under. If you keep your eye on me, you'll stay afloat.
Is it as easy as that?
No, Peter, it's not as easy as that. It's not easy at all.
Do you ever feel like giving up on me, Jesus?
No.
Anything else?
Yes, it's high time you learned how to swim.